Coach Vince here, and this has been a highly requested training. We're going to dive into the secrets to food cravings. So let's dive right into this. The objectives of this training today is one, we're going to understand the differences between hunger and cravings. Let's understand the differences. Number two, how to overcome cravings. And number three is get you in control of your eating. So three really big objectives. We're going to crush all three of them today. So stick along. This is me, just to let you know, I struggle with cravings, emotional eating as well. So I just point this out to let you know that you're not alone. I also coach a lot of clients who also struggle with this. So both personally and professionally, very knowledgeable, very experienced here with this side of eating, the hunger and the craving side. So let's dive right in. The first thing that we want to do here is help you understand the difference between hunger and cravings. So when it comes to hunger, it's an uncomfortable or painful physical sensation caused by the insufficient consumption of dietary energy, aka food. The word I'd like to highlight there is a physical sensation. So cravings, the definition, a powerful desire for something. When it comes to cravings, it's helpful to classify them as physical. So similar to hunger, it uses the word physical, but as we'll come to realize, physical cravings are different than physical hunger, and we'll dive into that. So classify them as physical, emotional, or mental triggers. Cravings aren't a problem. They're merely a signal that there's something deeper to interpret. So how I read this or how I see this with myself and with my clients is we often use food as the wrong tool to solve the wrong job. So although from a food side of things, we can feel like we're fixing an emotional or mental trigger or even a physical trigger with that matter, but at the end of the day, it's not the real issue. So we're basically treating a gunshot wound with a Band-Aid. So we're going to actually, throughout this training, better understand how to treat the right problem with the right tool. So continuing on, better understanding the differences here between hunger and cravings. Physiological signals from hunger are triggered by the body's need for nourishment. Cravings, primarily psychological desire for a very specific food. The onset of hunger develops gradually and is accompanied by physical symptoms. Cravings come on suddenly and are characterized by an intense longing. So I think we're starting to really better understand the difference between the two here. I'm guessing you've felt this kind of sudden and intense longing for food versus just, man, give me anything and everything and I'm ready to rock. Specificity, general and non-specific, you're just open to anything, man. Just give me some food. When it comes to cravings, it's got to be specific. It's got to be the thing that you're specifically wanting and focused on. From a satiety side of things, you're satisfied by eating a balanced meal, leading to a sense of fullness. Versus cravings, you're not easily satisfied by other foods, often only satisfied by the craved item. So hopefully through those descriptions here, it's pretty clear the difference between hunger and cravings. And I'm guessing in general, it's not too often that you actually are dealing with hunger versus you're actually dealing with the craving side of things. So throughout the rest of this training, we're going to really focus on number two, how to overcome the cravings. So let's dive into this. So when thinking about if it's a craving side of things, something mentally that helps me out, and I think you've been around long enough to know that whatever your goals are, a lot of them are going to come down to your perception and how strong you are mentally. So an analogy that I like to use that helps me overcome cravings and helps my clients overcome cravings is better understanding the difference between your tongue and your body. So the majority of your taste buds live on your tongue, and your tongue weighs about 90 grams compared to your body weighs about 90,000 grams. So that's a ratio of 1,000 to 1. So simply put, from a financial standpoint, would you rather have $1 or $1,000? Naturally, you're going to pick the $1,000 every single time. You want to get rich, you need that money. But unfortunately, when it comes to our food choices, we make food choices based off of our taste buds. Just that 1% here, that 90 grams, we make a lot of our decisions. How does the food taste? Versus once that food gets into your body, your hearts, your lungs, your kidneys, your muscles, none of those things care about the taste. They just care about the nutrients that are being provided for them to run optimally. So, when thinking about food options and making choices, if we're thinking more about feeding our body compared to feeding our tongue, we'll just have a lot more success getting rid of or eliminating cravings in general. So, hopefully, as far as moving forward, when it comes to cravings, we're going to better understand what they are. But more importantly, we're going to understand how to overcome them from the root cause and start getting into thinking mentally more about how do I feed my body versus only thinking about how is the food going to taste. Because once it gets past your tongue, it no longer cares about what it tastes like. So with that being said, is cravings, I think about cravings in two different aspects. One, the physical side of things, and then two, the mental emotional. So when it comes to the physical side of things, we're going to think more the salty. I got to get some salt. I got to get some sweet, or I got to get some fatty foods in me. We're going to better understand those physical cravings and then how to overcome them. From the mental, emotional side of things, there's boredom eating, stress eating, and then eating while sad or discomforted. So we're going to better understand how to overcome those as well. So let's keep diving in here. Salty cravings. So craving salt means a number of things, ranging from dehydration and low levels of electrolytes lost in sweat to stress and poor quality sleep. So when you have a salty craving, we're going to solve that by making sure that the body is properly hydrated. So when you get that salty feeling, instead of going for the chips, the popcorn, the fries, let's think first about, have I had adequate amount of water or hydration in me? Most people, about half of your body weight in ounces is kind of the rough range of water consumption throughout the day. So the first thing that you should go to is, do I just maybe need some more water versus the fries? Another thing you could possibly do is add in an electrolyte packet. So a lot of people struggle with just drinking enough water. What's nice about the electrolyte packets is it does have some flavoring to help you want to drink some more water. What's also great about it is the electrolyte packets have sodium, magnesium, and potassium in them. That is what an electrolyte is. So naturally, you'll get this dosage of salt in your electrolyte packet without all the extra calories. The other thing we're going to notice as a common theme here is between stress and sleep. If you live a super high stress life and you don't have the right tools to help you overcome stress, you're always going to reach to the easier options, which a lot of us is from the food side of things. So stress management and quality of sleep. Sleep is just so darn important because sleep is just such a great job for our hormones to get back to regulation. So if you got poor sleep, your hormones are going to always be dysregulated, and good luck fighting against your hormones. So proper stress management, good night's sleep are going to go a long way in any of these cravings, on top of thinking about feeding your body versus your tongue. Okay, so salty cravings, let's get some more water in us, possibly add an electrolyte packet. Of course, quality of sleep will go a long way for a lot of things. When it comes to a sweet craving, so sugar cravings are often caused by imbalances in blood glucose levels. Low blood sugar levels might cause you to crave something sweet in order to bring up these levels. So a couple of big recommendations to solve the sweet craving is increase protein and fiber while also considering getting rid of snacks. So when you're going to eat a meal, in a perfect world, that meal would have a protein source, roughly 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal. If you're a guy, you're looking for at least 150 grams of protein minimum per day. And then we also want to have a fiber source. So that could come from a fruit or vegetable the majority of the time. We're looking for about 6 cups of fruits and veggies throughout the day, or 35 to 45 grams of fiber. So if we're having protein, fiber, and then whatever other kind of carbohydrate or fats that we want to have along with that meal, that's a well-balanced meal. What's awesome about that is it's going to help regulate your blood sugar as well, compared to if you were to only eat carbs. And that's why I'm a big fan of not snacking, because most people, most of the time when they're snacking, only go to carb sources. And when you eat carbs all by themselves, naturally they're going to skyrocket your blood sugar, which is going to then cause it to come crashing down, which is going to lead to low energy, and then you just wanting more carbs to try and get your energy back up. But if we can think about having these balanced meals of protein and fiber, then it just makes your blood sugar a whole lot easier to regulate. If we get rid of snacking altogether, then we'll also get rid of those big ups and downs when it comes to blood sugar. Chewing gum in between meals or a mint or two. Remember, the mints or the gum will possibly have some sugar along with it. So don't go bananas with either one of these, but these are just a couple of great solutions for in between meals. Same thing with flavoring your water after a meal. So having a little bit of squeezed lemon or squeezed lime or squeezed oranges, anything you could think of, just to kind of give you a little bit of that sweetness in between meals. Nothing wrong with that as long as we're not going overboard. But the big to do with the cravings is making sure that you're eating balanced meals with protein and fiber, so we're more in control of that blood sugar. Fatty cravings, so it could be a sign that your body is missing specific nutrients. If you're craving cheese, fried foods, or other high fat options, it could need more essential fatty acids such as omega 3s. So there's different types of fats. I'll save the lecture for today, but omega 3s are a great anti-inflammatory fat that provide a lot of nutrients. Healthy fat in your diet is super important to help regulate hormones, which we talked about earlier from the sleep side of things. Regulating your hormones is super important. Healthy fats do a great job with that. They also help with the absorption of vitamins and minerals. You want more energy. Being able to absorb vitamins and minerals is a great way to ensure you have long-lasting energy. So if you have a diet that's not high in healthy fats, it's more so with these fried food type options, you're going to really struggle long term with having these cravings and most likely low energy. So solution is including more healthy fats from fish, avocado, eggs, nuts, and seeds. So let's get some more healthy fats in you and ease away a little bit from all those unhealthy fats. So those are the physical side of cravings, the sweet, the salty, and the fatty. Let's dive into now the mental, emotional. So boredom eating, where you aren't hungry but snack out of boredom. Most of us do this while watching Netflix or late night, sometimes falls under the category of emotional eating. Even if we aren't overly emotional at the time, stress and boredom mix well together when you're avoiding a task you find difficult or some other problem you don't want to address. I think that last part's really important. Emotional, you aren't emotional at the time. Stress and boredom mix well together when you're avoiding a task you find difficult or some other problem you don't want to address. So when it comes to the boredom eating side of things, people who have naturally low levels of dopamine and are more likely to seek out and become addicted to dopamine producing substances. So food is a dopamine producing substance. Is when we eat due to boredom, this can be a way of waking up our dopamine neurons so we can feel excited again. So the solution is, one is just being okay with being bored. I think we just live in a time these days where the moment we get bored, we're whipping out our phone, turning on the TV, anything to get some screen time. So when it comes to boredom, I think one is just naturally actually kind of seeking out being bored versus always trying to distract ourselves. Chewing gum is a great way to kind of occupy yourself instead of reaching for food. Drinking some water, setting a timer for 30 minutes to recheck on in if you're actually hungry or if it's just a craving. And now we understand the difference. So give yourself a little bit of gap once you're like, I'm thinking about grabbing the bowl of pretzels, the bag of popcorn. We could be one, just okay with being bored, two, chewing some gum, drinking some more water, or just set a timer for 30 minutes to see if it's actually hunger or just a craving. So when it comes to stress eating, a recent study has investigated this physiological basis, or the psychological basis of sugar cravings during the times of stress. Researchers propose that sugar turns down the stress response in the human brain. As a result, we may be consuming sugar as a quick way to hold back feelings of stress. Maybe a light bulb just went off. Although our brain accounts for just 2% of our body weight, the organ consumes half of our daily carbohydrate requirements, and glucose is its most important fuel. Under acute stress, the brain requires some 12% more energy, leading many to reach for sugary snacks. Stress eating. So when you're stressed, naturally, as a result, we may be consuming sugar as a quick way to hold back. So naturally, when we get stressed, eating some sugar can kind of help hold back that feeling of stress, which obviously a lot of us aren't very comfortable with being stressed. And just like boredom, it's okay to be bored. I do think that there is this fine line of understanding it is okay to be stressed. And then we just have to have the right tool to help us de-stress. And I'm telling you, reaching for sugary snacks just to hold back the feeling of stress is not the solution. I also think too, a big issue with stress eating is, because when we are stressed out, our brain does just cruise through glucose and just wanting more and more of it. Remember, stored fat on us in our belly and our arms, our stored fat can be turned into glucose. So instead of just reaching for more food, what a lot of us need to be is comfortable with letting our body use our stored fat and turn that into glucose for fuel, versus the moment you get stressed and you start to just reach for the sugar, not an ideal solution. So when it comes to stress eating, food is not the solution. Working on breath work, exercise, journaling, mindset work, these are the things that we're going to want to focus on if you're someone who struggles with stress eating. And then last but not least is sad or comfort eating. Eating can be a way to temporarily silence or stuff down uncomfortable emotions, including anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, loneliness, resentment, and shame. While you're numbing yourself with food, you can avoid the difficult emotions you'd rather not feel, boredom or this feeling of emptiness. So when it comes to a solution is just overall just developing a healthy lifestyle, finding support. So developing a healthy support, whether it be with a significant other, whether it be with friends, whether it be with a therapist, whether it be with coaching, and of course, improving your environment. Our environment often is the biggest indicator of our feelings. So if we can improve our environment, if we can improve our identity, who we think we are, and actually match who we think we want to be with who we are, with what we do. So if we can start to improve our identity, our environment, and just overall finding stress management that actually helps you de-stress, that is healthy, if we're getting good sleep, we're eating high quality foods, a lot of this sad comfort eating will go out the way. I know with a lot of my clients, the environment side of things, like whether you have, young kids, and you always got like snacks and treats, honestly, just doing a deep clean and getting a lot of that stuff out of the house. The kids don't need all that snacky food, just like you don't. So cleaning up the closets, getting rid of those foods that you struggle controlling yourself with will also help create that barrier for you to kind of have this moment. Hey, maybe I am sad. And now that I don't have this food in the cupboard, it's a reminder that I should go do some breath work. It's a reminder I should go do some journaling versus just going to grab the food and gorging yourself. So as a summary here is hopefully we feel comfortable and confident, cravings versus hunger. It's pretty clear the difference between the two, this reactive versus proactive lifestyle. So this proactive lifestyle is, staying on top of your hydration, eating healthy food, doing journaling, doing exercising, getting good sleep versus being reactive, waiting for the salty, sweet craving to happen and then fulfilling it, waiting for the boredom or the stress to happen and then just reacting based off of how you feel. So we need to go more towards this proactive lifestyle. Not feeding yourself the proper nutrients will lead to uncontrollable cravings. We gotta feed our body versus our tongue. Always allowing your environment and or emotions to decide what you eat will lead to failure. So cleaning up your environment, where you go, where these foods are, making sure that you put yourself in the best environment as often as possible. From the emotion side of things, like, listen, obviously emotions are supernatural. It's not to be a robot by any means, but a lot of the times just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that you have to act a certain way. So with that, objective number 2, how to overcome cravings. Hopefully we now feel more comfortable and confident with that. Let's move on to number 3, get you in control of your eating. So if you're someone who struggles with eating, you're on the go all the time, you're unsure what to eat, when to eat, you don't even know what the proper nutrients are and how much you need to eat, what I would like to offer to you is helping you get in control of your eating with my effortless on the go meal plan. So minimal effort. A lot of the meals can be done in under 5 minutes. There's a giant list of foods to keep you from getting bored. And we'll also do it in a way that you can fulfill your body's nutrient needs while also saving room for the fun foods and the fun drinks. We don't have to get rid of any of those things. We just need more of the nutrient side of things. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to go from dad bod, which I define dad bod as someone with a big belly, overtired and defeated by a lack of discipline. If you want to go from dad bod to dadletic, which is fit, all day energy and a protector of your health, you want this effortless meal plan on the go. I'll customize it specifically for you. Just send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, dadletic, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about and get you hooked up with the plan. All right, hope this training helped today. Now it's time to go do the work.